In photography, properly composing a photo is very important. That being said, here are a few simple photo composition techniques that you can learn right now. One of the most famous composition techniques in photography is known as the rule of thirds. Here's what it looks like. So you basically have your photo here. Just imagine a little tic-tac-toe grid in it, so you have 2 lines going down, 2 lines going across. So what you're going to want to do in terms of portraiture is to have your subject's eye placed at the intersection point of 2 of the lines. So for example, in my amazing visual representation here, I have the right eye of my subject right on the point of the top right intersection here. So what this does is it basically draws the eye of the viewer towards the eye of your subject, which is very important in terms of portraits. This rule also applies to landscape photography, as shown by this other amazing visual representation. Take a look at this. Here are 2 mountain peaks, and you want the viewer to look at them both, to notice them both. So basically what happens, or what you want to do, is line up 2 important landmarks with 2 intersections. My personal preference is diagonally, just so there's greater visual flow. But you guys can do whatever you want, as long as it does that. It just draws the eye of the viewer to one point, and then has the visual flow to the other point. So for example, if I'm looking at this photo, my eye gets drawn to this mountain peak, but then since you can technically connect it to each other, like your view is like drawn to this mountain peak. Another way the rule of thirds can also apply to landscape photography is like what the name implies, the rule of thirds. So for example, I divided my image into thirds. So this is your bottom third, this is your middle third, and this is your top third right here. So basically what you're going to try to want to do is divide the photo into 3 parts and put elements of your photo into each of them. Like for example, very important is like where you put your horizon. So you don't want to at any random point. You want to show the viewer that you actually put some thought into it. So in this case, I put my horizon on the top third and had the 2 bottom thirds dedicated to landscape. So as you can see, it looks quite visually pleasing as compared to if say you have your horizon line right here intersecting the house, which is kind of strange. Now, although the rule of thirds is a very famous photo composition technique, it doesn't mean that you have to follow it all the time. Now, one of my favorite photo composition techniques that does not follow the rule of thirds is called the middle line. So you're basically gonna want to imagine your frame like this, and just have a line just going straight down the middle of your frame, hence the name middle line. So in this case, I'm taking a portrait and your subject right here. What you're going to want to do is put one of the eyes of your subject right on the middle line. So it's just basically a very simple composition technique that just, like the rule of thirds, just draws the eye of the viewer right to your eye of the subject. The middle line technique also works really well for landscape photography. For example, in this case, I'm doing a symmetry photo, a reflection photo over water. So what I did was I just divided my frame into 2 completely equal halves, one on the top, one on the bottom, and just put the elements there. It makes it really visually pleasing for the viewer as everything is completely the same. The last composition technique that I'm going to be discussing today is known as leading lines. So basically, if you really want to draw the eye of your viewer to a subject, or really want to emphasize the subject, you can follow this. In this case, I want to draw the eye of the viewer of the image to this house at the end of the road. So what I did was I just composed it such that the road, basically the barriers, the sides of the road, leads all the way to the house. So the viewer's eye starts from here, and it slowly but surely leads them over to the house at the end of the road. It's just a really nice, pleasing composition technique that, if used in conjunction with the other 2 photo composition techniques that I discussed today, will make for a really great photo. Okay everybody, that just about does it for today's video. Now, I didn't cover all of the possible photo composition techniques, because honestly, there's so many of them, the possibilities are endless, and no one can cover it no matter how many videos they make. But hopefully the few simple and easy ones that I taught you would be able to help you in improving yourself in photography, like especially if you're just starting out. Now, if you enjoyed the video, please feel free to hit the like button and subscribe for future content. Thank you very much, and see you in the next one.